Syngenta Canada and C&M Seeds present the Wheat School on realagriculture.com.
So, wheat planting season is coming up. Lots of growers thinking about what they're going to do. Soybean harvest is going to be early. In fact, there's already edible beans coming out of the field, which is really amazing. It's one of the earliest years across the board. There's even silage corn that's been harvested because of the dry weather. So now the question becomes, it's such an early harvest, it gives us the chance to go to the field and plant wheat early. What are the considerations that we need to think about when we get that chance to do the ultimate plant wheat early? Because early planted wheat, as we've talked many times, increases our yield potential really significantly. So some of the thought processes that we have to go through, you'd think this would be easy because gosh, you plant wheat early, automatically my yield goes up, so what do I have to think about? But there are some really intriguing considerations. One of the things that's kind of neat is that if we plant wheat early, we get a lot more potential for that wheat to grow in the fall and to tiller in the fall, and you actually can plant wheat too early. So if you're on the heavy clay in the Niagara Peninsula and it's the 10th of September and they're forecasting thunderstorms like crazy coming in on the 12th of September, you don't wait, because on that really heavy clay soil, the truly heavy clays, once they get wet, you may never plant. So when I say you can plant wheat too early, I have to hedge that a little bit around soil type. But man, if you are on a good silt loam soil around Woodstock or north of London, or even the clay loam soils up into Huron County, almost for sure you're going to get a chance later in the season. And time and again we've had growers go to the field, say, in fact I've had growers at St. Thomas, so we're talking 3,300 heat unit area, and they've planted wheat on the 1st of September, and then they wonder why it only yields 90 bushels. You can plant it too early. What happens is you get too much growth in the fall, and a lot of people say, well, it gets too tall in the fall. No, it doesn't get too tall in the fall, because the varieties we're working with now aren't like the older varieties. They don't do that. They stay short because that's their growth habit, but they still get thick and lush, and they'll get 10 tillers to a plant because all they can do is grow leaves and tillers, and they get so thick and lush they get all full of disease. And once they're all full of disease, it simply seems like we can't regain that yield potential. So realistically, what growers should do in Ontario is kind of look at when is the optimum date for your area. Right here, we're close to Guelph. The optimum date for Guelph is about the 18th of September, something like that. So you should probably never go more than 10 days earlier than your optimum date. Here at Guelph, I would say not before the 10th of September. At London, definitely not before the 15th of September. Kind of in that time frame. Don't give that wheat a chance to get too much top. The second thing that's kind of intriguing is that when we plant early, we actually increase the potential for that wheat to lodge next year. And you kind of say, how in the world can that have any impact whatsoever? Well, physiologically, I think what happens is that we get so many tillers in the fall that in the spring, those tillers start to compete with each other, and every plant wants to have as many tillers go through to seed as possible, and you get that plant-to-plant competition. It must cause the plants to stretch more, and plants that stretch and don't have good stems, they fall over. So how do we manage that lodging potential? Two ways. One is we look at varieties with better lodging tolerance. So some of our new wheats really don't lodge very much. They're good choices for early planting. But the other kind of cool thing is that we reduce the seeding rate. And everybody, this is one of the hardest things for growers to do. It's a bit like telling them, reduce your nitrogen rate on corn. Greg Stewart, our corn guy, has worked at that for years. And it just, I go to the field as a farmer and I'm thinking, less nitrogen and that's okay? It doesn't resonate in my brain very well, but it really is true. Shane, my technician, and myself, we've done a whole bunch of trials. Not only have we done trials, they've done them in Europe, they've done them all over the place. Early planted wheat. Reduce the seeding rate, you will improve your standability, and believe it or not, you will actually increase your yield. So when we get to the field this year, normally growers should be aiming for about 1.5, 1.6 million seeds per acre. If you're in the field a week or 10 days earlier than you ever have been before, then you should reduce that seeding rate at least down to 1.2 million. And in fact, I would even suggest that at 1 million seeds per acre, that's probably the right target for that really ultra early seeded wheat.